10 starts now.
Good evening and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. It's been over a decade since Allison Feldman was murdered in her Scottsdale home. Tonight, her family is still fighting for justice.
A long-delayed trial is scheduled to begin tomorrow. 12 News journalist Gabriella Becerra spoke with Feldman's father and is live at the Central Court building in downtown Phoenix with what's expected to come. Gabby?
Well, Mark Caribe, in just over 12 hours, both the prosecution and the defense are set to give their opening statements. Allison Feldman's father has been a part of this process every step of the way, but he tells me anticipation is building now that the trial is set to begin.
It's a strange feeling.
Harley Feldman isn't sure what to expect.
When we were waiting all this time, you don't think about what's going to happen next, and now it's here.
Now, 10 years after his daughter Allison was murdered, Harley will sit in a courtroom and watch the trial unfold.
We have one intent, and that's to find him guilty.
Allison Feldman was found beaten to death in her Scottsdale home in 2015. For years, the case went unsolved. Then in 2018, Scottsdale police arrested Iam Mitchum after comparing DNA found at the scene to Mitchum's brother, who was already in prison. A fight over the DNA evidence, multiple judge recusals, and procedural setbacks have delayed this trial for more than 7 years.
It has been a long time coming.
Feldman sat in on jury selection last Thursday.
And I thought, these 19 people now have a lot to say on his life.
And plans to attend every day of the trial, but not every minute.
There's parts of the evidence I won't sit in on. I want to remember Allison for the times that I remember her when she was alive. And I don't want the details of what happened to her.
Feldman tells me his daughter touched many lives. Hundreds of people showed up to her funeral and memorials.
That was the kind of respect and relationship she had built with people in her career and as a friend.
Allison has been and will continue to be front of mind for Harley every step of this process.
I made two promises when Allison was murdered. First was to help the Scottsdale police solve the crime, and the second was to keep her legacy alive, and this is how I do that.
And this trial is expected to take place over the next several months. Feldman tells me he plans to take the stand as a witness in this case at some point during that time. Live in downtown Phoenix, Gabriella Becerra, 12 News.
All right, Gabby, thanks. Again, full coverage of that trial for you on 12+. Some folks in a Phoenix neighborhood are waiting to get their power back on after a semi-truck crashed into several power poles today. You're looking at live pictures from the scene at 35th Avenue in Dunlap, where crews continue to work on the cleanup. The crash happened about 11 o'clock this morning. Witnesses say the truck clipped a power line that was strung across the road. 2,000 people lost power, but most got it back pretty quickly. SRP says that right now only 27 customers are still in the dark.
Developing tonight in South Phoenix, police continue to search for a suspect after a shooting broke out near 35th Avenue in Southern. When police arrived, they found a man with multiple gunshot wounds. He was taken to the hospital where he is expected to recover. The suspect had left the area by the time police arrived. Detectives are asking anyone with information to contact Silent Witness by calling 480-WITNESS. New at 10, a former Paradise Valley town employee has reached a plea deal and has now been sentenced for his crimes. He was the public works director for 4 years, and during that time, he used town credit cards to buy personal items totaling about $20,000. 12 News journalist Bianca Bono broke this story back in April. She is joining us live in Paradise Valley with the details on this sentence. Bianca?
Yeah, Brett Skoglund has agreed to plead guilty to 2 counts of theft and to pay the town back. He was sentenced to probation, no jail time, something a former colleague believes sends the wrong message. The man who served the town of Paradise Valley as public works director will now serve his own sentence after stealing taxpayer dollars to make personal purchases. Brent Skoglund worked as the public works director from 2019 to 2023. And during that time, he made dozens of purchases from companies like Amazon and Home Depot, alleging they were for business use when in fact they were for himself, totaling close to $20,000. The scheme, uncovered by a former colleague in the Public Works Department, Jerry Cooper. In a victim impact statement provided to the court, Cooper described Skoglund's odd behavior, not allowing staff to open incoming packages. Cooper spent hours with the accounting department sorting through evidence, writing, "To have invested so much in the community, only to discover that my department had been compromised over years of wrongdoing was difficult to reconcile." In May of this year, Skoglund was indicted, agreeing to a plea deal in August, pleading guilty to 2 counts of theft. Cooper asked the court to sentence Skoglund to jail time, saying, "Just as a person who robs a store cannot simply return the stolen money and walk away, Brent should not escape accountability merely by giving the funds back. He should serve as a clear example that such misconduct will not be tolerated." But despite that recommendation, this week, Skoglund avoided jail time, instead sentenced to 3 years of supervised probation, community service, and full restitution, paying the near $20,000 back to the town. And Skoglund has also been sentenced to 3 months of deferred jail time, meaning as long as he successfully completes his probation, he will avoid time behind bars. We're live in Paradise Valley. Bianca Bono, 12 News.
Bianca, thanks. New at 10, a continued crackdown on prostitution and human trafficking along Phoenix's 27th Avenue has led to dozens of arrests. Phase 2 of Operation New Beginning took place earlier this month near Grand Canyon University. It's part of a multi-agency effort to try to clean up that corridor between Indian School and Bethany Home Road. Authorities say 22 people were arrested for prostitution during this phase, following 47 arrests back in August. One juvenile victim of sex trafficking was also rescued. The effort is part of a larger partnership between GCU, Phoenix Police, and different community groups, all working together to make the area safer for families, schools, and businesses.
Now to an update on the ongoing Colorado River water negotiations. The river provides more than a third of the water that the valley uses every year. The Arizona Department of Water Resources says that they have made progress to an agreement with tribal communities and the 6 other states that rely on the river, but they need more work to be done in order to come to a final deal. This comes ahead of a deadline that was set for tomorrow. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs is calling on other states to do their part in the negotiations.
A Colorado River future that puts all the cuts on Arizona, that the upper basin doesn't take any cuts, is not acceptable. And we've made that clear. We've asked for the federal government to step in and help to broker a deal. It's clear that that leadership is needed because the upper basin has refused to move.
If the federal government does step into the negotiations, it's unclear how much water Arizona would lose.
Tonight, 2 planes that have been grounded by the FAA are still sitting on the outskirts of Sky Harbor. The agency grounded all MD-11 cargo planes over the weekend after that deadly crash in Louisville last week. The crash killed 14 people. Investigators say the plane's left engine detached from the plane during takeoff, adding the same problem likely exists in the planes with the same design. Officials are now grounding the entire fleet until inspections are completed.
Meanwhile, today marked day 1 of the FAA increasing flight cuts to 6% at dozens of major airports, and Sky Harbor is one of them, with 22 flights already canceled for tomorrow. That's according to tracking site Flight Radar 24. The cuts are being mandated to slow air traffic amid limited staffing. As Maribel Gonzalez reports, things may get worse before they get better.
Until a deal to end the federal government shutdown is inked, airlines must continue to follow the FAA's emergency order to incrementally reduce flight capacity at 40 major U.S. airports, rising to 10% by Friday.
We were scared that it was going to delay like a whole day or more, but luckily it was only an hour. But hopefully this doesn't delay it more.
Tuesday, the flight cuts rose from 4% to 6%, but Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says that percentage is actually higher.
The issue here is you saw more delays over the weekend than 4%. And we thought it's better to manage a reduction in flights, to systematically do it, to plan for it, than to let chaos ensue.
Secretary Duffy visited Central Wisconsin Airport on day 42 of a record-long government shutdown, speaking to air traffic controllers who have missed 2 paychecks.
We have some controllers we're put in a very difficult position.
He warned that even when the government shutdown ends, air travel won't resume to full capacity immediately.
I'm concerned that we're not going to have on day one controllers come back into the towers right away.
There have been at least 638 reports of short staffing since the government shutdown began on October 1st. That's more than 6 times as many as were reported on the same dates last year.
Had a 6-hour delay in Houston, and the weather was perfect. It's because the air traffic controllers aren't getting paid.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.